What is up, guys? I am super stoked to be recording this video. I think it's going to be one of the most impactful videos that I ever make and ever have made. And I think coaching is changing a lot. If you've watched any of my recent content, I kind of go over how it's changing and what I see happening. And I just want to bring some of you guys in on some of the changes that I'm personally making and some of the stuff that I'm learning in real time, and then basically show you the new way, right? I don't know if you've realized this, but it's getting harder and harder to enroll high-ticket clients. It's getting, less fun for a lot of people that I talk to, and even worse than that, less profitable. So, a lot of the people you guys might look up to, I actually have been privileged and blessed to know and talk to and hang out with and build friendships with. And you'd be shocked at how many people are making $100,000 or $200,000 a month running really big coaching programs that absolutely are miserable, right? And if you know me at all, you followed my stuff for some time, you know that I'm a believer, and I truly believe that God's best for your life is the most important thing, right? The thing that He's called you to do, not just something that you're trying to build, even if it is a coaching business. So I'm going to show you guys what I see the coaching industry going into, because AI is changing everything, right? We used to sell information, right? Part of our niche was even called selling info products, right? But the problem with that is information is free now. Literally, if you just pay $19.99 a month for ChatGPT, you've got every piece of information in regards to coaching that you could ever need, right? As long as you know what to ask and how to ask it. Like, hey, what ad should I run? Write me an ad script. Write me an email, sequence. Write me all this stuff. Pretend you're Russell Brunson when you write it. Pretend you're Brandon when you write it, right? So it's less about information and it's more about the transformation that people are getting. And another thing that I've seen, and actually I'll pull up my whiteboard here for this part. I've helped 35 people roughly, verified that, at one point or another, implemented some of the stuff we teach. So 35 people get to, $100K a month in their coaching business. And I'm just going to be honest with you, of those people, right, I know about 5 of them, maybe 10, that are still doing that. So we'll just say 10 are still going, right, at that level. And then I know about, I'm just trying to be honest here, 3, okay, that are happy, okay? So that's not including the 1,500, people that I've worked with to some capacity, and the 900 high-ticket clients. So I'm sure there's more out there that maybe weren't tracked or whatever, but if you look at, 900 people, and then you look at, just like the small number, right, being 3, I think we can see very quickly that the odds are definitely against you. They're not in your favor to getting to 100K per month. And 2, I just don't think it's needed anymore, right? Just the more, I guess, I'm maturing and growing up, if you will, like having 2 kids, I just realized, I don't really love the idea of having, at least in this season, a crazy huge coaching business anymore. And that might shock some of you guys, and maybe it's good that it does, right? Because maybe you've been putting a ton of pressure on yourself to implement and to scale your coaching business for just the sake of scaling it, right? When in reality, maybe you were called to, build something big, but maybe not 7-figure big or multi-7-figure big. Like maybe what God's asked you to steward is something different. And it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, and it definitely doesn't mean that it's a step back. But what I've realized is that there's people who make 100K a month in sales, right? And they get a ClickFunnels award like the ones behind me, but they're broke, right? So I've seen this so many times. You wouldn't believe how many people I've talked to who have a ClickFunnels award, 2 Comma Club award, blah, 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 but they don't have any money, right? And even worse, how many people I talk to at that level who are dude, I don't even love the business anymore, right? Like I was just on the phone with 3 people in the last 7 days who were here, got here, actually 4, and all of them feel burned out and or don't like the business they built. And I think, the Lord really gave me a plan and a strategy mixed with, getting to help from different people on how to build a coaching business. And it actually comes down even deeper than just like the model you're running. And it's more so the operating system in which you're living your life in. Because here's the deal. As a coach, you could be feeling a couple of these things, like a pit down in your stomach where you're like nervous / fearful / like, man, is any of the stuff that's in me ever going to happen in real life, right? Like all the dreams, all the visions. And then maybe there's like this like rubber band type feeling around your head of like stressed all the time of like, are you going to be able to pay your bills? Can you go full time with this? And so if you're not careful, what can happen is you can start comparing yourself to people on the internet, meaning this, you step into jealousy and start coveting what other people have. Like, man, did you see that guy's new car? Did you see that this person hit a record month? Did you see that, so-and-so had, this paid in full amount? Should I change my prices? Should I run this new funnel? And if you're not careful, like you're literally always looking for something on the outside to change how you feel on the inside. And you're looking for like this secret. But the biggest secret of all is that there really are no secrets. And at the end of the day, the whole goal of your coaching business is to make profit, right? It's to make profit and it's to make impact, right? And to be honest, guys, like this business, just so you guys know, like really, unless you go like a majorly big with it, and if so, like 500K a month, $1 million a month, like I'm probably not your guy. But it's not a sellable asset. So really the only thing you're building is your personal brand, goodwill, and cash flow. But how a lot of the models are set up, they're set up in a way that takes your cash flow from you, right? And also takes your peace from you. You don't even like your business anymore. And this took me a long time to realize, and I'm just going to be super vulnerable with everyone in this video. I even fell into that trap, like not meaning to, but going from having a business that made 10K a month to hitting 100K months to even 200K months. If you're not careful, you can get into like this chasing the next record month trap. And it's like all in the name of growth, getting better, all those good things. But again, if you're not careful, you can get ahead of the Lord. So here's what I'm going to show you guys, and I think would be super, super beneficial for you to walk through. I'm going to show you the exact model that I'm implementing and the exact model, if I could go back in time, I would have implemented. So back in 2023, I was actually already running this, and there were several months where I had a 70K month in profit, 100K month in profit. And guys, that's a lot of money, right? Like just, couple, 3 months, right, of that, it's like crazy, okay? And so I'm just going to walk you through kind of how I came to this conclusion. 2023, that was happening, right? All throughout 2023, whatever, things were going well towards the end. And then in 2024, I went to speak at this church, and a pastor prophesied over me. If you don't know what that is, it's in the Bible nonetheless. He prayed over me and was like, Brandon, I've never said this before, but I see you making $1 million a month in your business. And I was like, praise God. Awesome, right? So that was like early 2024, okay? And so like I'm a super generous person, right? I've been able to give away a lot of cool stuff and sow a lot of seed and like sponsor a lot of cool things. So what I did was I took, that word, early 2024, right? And I told the team, we need to scale, right? And so I started trying to implement basically that word in my own strength. And instead of being happy, right, at the 200K a month level, I felt like I needed to push to get to the promise, right, if you will. And like the promise could just represent whatever you feel like the Lord has told you or whatever you see. And you're like, man, I need to push. I'm not going to be happy until I get here. But what quickly happened was I started chasing the promise, right, instead of the promiser, okay? And just to be completely honest with you guys, I started to feel like super weird and almost like not happy anymore. And then a couple of things started happening because this was my new goal, right? Profit went down, and I started running a different model. So I'm going to show you what I was running in 2023. So in 2023, when like the business was awesome, right? I was running on low expenses, right? So I think I was, had 2 team members, very low softwares, and I basically had like a small ad spend of maybe $15K a month, something like that. And the whole concept back then was that monthly recurring revenue would cover my expenses. My expenses were pretty low, and in most cases, my monthly recurring revenue was actually greater, than my expenses. So I was profitable literally month 1, right? Or every month before the month began, day 1, right? So literally, it's a new month. I didn't have to worry about paying my bills, like they were already paid, right? There was a point we had like $85K a month of recurring revenue, and my bills were nowhere near that. And this is where like I feel like my content was the best. A lot of you guys maybe even found me back in this time, and I really loved what I was doing. And any high ticket coaching sell, right, of people joining any of our high ticket offers, on top was literally profit, right? So not only was I getting profit on the monthly recurring side, but I was also getting profit on the MRR, right? And the beautiful thing about this model was low expenses, right? Like that's awesome. Small team, right? More intimate, right? Because you don't have as many clients needed. And I actually made more money back then, which is crazy to say. But so this is 2023. Okay, so let me show you what I did. So remember, like I'm doing this, things are great, and then I get that word. I'm like, man, I need to change stuff up. I need to go harder, right? So what I did was, and this is like to no one's fault, I started getting different people's opinions on how to get there. And they said, do away with MRR, right? And then focus only on, the high ticket. And so what happened is things were great until expenses started rising. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but, $100K a month coaching business doesn't mean you make $100K in a lot of cases, right? So a lot of people, what they won't tell you is they have 10% going to their closer, right? 5% going to their setter, right? To do $100K in a month, you're either spending 10 to 20 or really even $30K a month on ads in some cases, right? Then people have software, right? Softwares, right? Ideally at that level, you have client success team, right? You probably have video editors, right? You've got, maybe even an ops person. You've got, maybe you have some VAs and an assistant. And then even, deeper than that, maybe, because the revenue, what I found also is like whenever the revenue is higher, people spend more money on different things. So you're probably paying for coaching too, just to keep growing, get better and better. And then maybe you're even, giving out refunds, right? Because at that level, like your sales team is literally there to sign people up for your coaching versus, because they get paid on commission, right? So I'm just going to paint a picture of like what's broken with this model. So not only are the expenses higher and profit lower, right? But some months I talk to people and there really is no profit left over, right? And a lot of you guys, like whenever you start making more money, guess what? You increase your bills. So then your profit is basically just paying your bills, right? Your personal bills. I'm talking about like your house payment, car payments, whatever you got. And then so like you're basically building all of this, which is an asset that you can't sell, trading time for money, making less than ever before. and paying out your team more than you're even making yourself, which is the opposite of what a coaching business is supposed to be, right? So let's just go a little deeper. Like you've got a closer, right, who wants you to get them good calls, which causes you to have to spend more on ads, right? And the thing about a closer is some of them are great, but some of them, A, aren't good, and then it costs you money, or B, are unethical, right? And I'm thankful that I haven't really had to experience this, but a lot of people like in that industry, like they're just like, dude, close anyone, take their money, and then just get them into the program because that's how they get paid, right? Your setter is always going to want you to spend more money because they make money when you make money, right? More volume, more stuff like that, the more softwares you have, right? Client success is great, but there could be times where even that's draining, right? Having to train client success reps, things like that. Video editors in most cases, are in the green, right? Like what's the point of having an ops manager for a coaching business? Just being honest, right? Like you could do most of this stuff if you set it up and automate it with AI, right? In some cases it's needed, right? And it's definitely a good thing to be, optimal and have systems and all that good stuff. And then as you keep going, right, refunds, right? So it's like you got into this to help people because your sales team and processes and all that are all based on you having to make all this money every single month to just pay your team's bills and then hopefully be able to pay your bills. And maybe there's a little bit of profit, left over on top. You're basically constantly living in this mode of like being stressed. And this could be like on a smaller scale too. So let's just say you only have a setter, no closer, right? So just remove the closer and just apply whatever blocks, right, apply to you. That's the point of me kind of writing this stuff out. It's like not everybody is going to be in the same spot, but basically just take a look at all the different things that could be potentially weighing on you, right? And this is actually like a very heavy thing to carry because not only that, you're also coaching people, okay? And so whenever you're coaching people, like this mountain represents all their problems, they can solve most of these, right, themselves. But guess which problems they bring to you? The ones at the very top. So not only are you dealing with your own problems, but now you're dealing with the most intricate and complex problems of your students, right? So you're literally walking around carrying the weight of their problems. You basically got in this business to make profit, make impact, but you're realizing like it's not as profitable as you thought. And a lot of it I've found, this is the secret, came down to the vision, the why behind which you're doing all of this stuff. And maybe, just maybe, you're creating something that God never called you to create. And it's heavy, okay? So this is the revelation that I got recently, right? So in the Bible, you might not know this, but there's, a guy who basically had a promise from the Lord that him and his wife are going to have a kid in their old age, and then they try and make the thing happen in their own strength, and they produce who's called Ishmael, and it turned into a very bad situation, right? It's basically trying to make God's promise happen in your own strength. So I believe some of you guys, have a big promise. Like I just told you one of mine, which is like, I believe one day somehow I'm going to get to $1 million a month, right? And then you also have, for lack of better words, a calling, and I'll just call this stewardship, right? With where you're at now. And what I've found in life is oftentimes we can try and get ahead of ourselves. And so maybe for you, like the thing you've been chasing isn't, $1 million a month, but maybe, it's 100K per month. You thought like, man, if I could finally get to 100K, I'd be happy, or 50K, or 20K, or 10K, or, 500K. But what I've personally found, and I know a lot of people who've hit the quote unquote promised land, right? They're not happy because the way you get there matters. And on the flip side, I've met a lot of people who've done it, but it took 5, 10, 20 years to do. And when they finally get there, they love their life and they're super happy. So here's what I personally did. I was like, okay, so this is the vision, right? And I wanted to break it down and like, okay, Lord, like this is what I see. I'm operating more in the red right now, like trying to make this happen in my own strength. What are you calling me to do in 2025? Right? So 2025 stewardship. And I wrote down like, okay, I want to buy my grandpa a new truck, right? I want to sponsor all of my church's Hope Nights, right? Which are 5K each. I want to profit 20K per month, right? Because I can take that and invest it and I'll, be extremely blessed. Like I realized like Brandon, like I don't even need 100K a month profit, right? And if that comes, cool, but it's not the primary thing I'm chasing anymore. And yeah, I want to build wealth, right? So that's what I want to do in 2025. And I realized like, oh, okay, Brandon. So like you could do all of that with like way less profit than you were trying to make, which would be like 30K a month, right? And then anything on top of that would just be a cherry on top, would be a blessing. So I realized that, man, like I've been chasing, the wrong thing and going about it the wrong way. Because here's the thing about a promise from the Lord. If you can make it happen in your own strength, it wasn't from him, right? There has to be the element of faith where he helps it come to pass. So then I was like, okay, so if like this is my new target, which is 30K a month in profit, okay, how can I build a model that is so stupid simple that it would be almost impossible for me to not get there? And so for you, like right now, like maybe write down like your big vision, what you see yourself getting to, and then like what you want to accomplish, this year. And then ask yourself, what do you truly need to get there? Okay. And then this becomes your new North Star. Instead of like the promise being your North Star, right? The thing that allows you to accomplish the why becomes the North Star. And it makes it a lot easier, right? So now that you've got clarity on, what that profit number is, because again, like we're not talking about revenue here. Like a lot of people are like, I want to get to 100K a month. Why? Right? Again, no real reason. It's just because your ego and you want to, and because it'll look cool when you post a screenshot. So instead, I would ask yourself, like, what's the profit goal that allows me to get this stuff done? And for you, it could be 5K a month in profit or 10K or 50K, whatever, right? So the model that I've came down to, right, that I truly believe this is the only coaches who are going to make it through 2025 are people who run this model. And the model is pretty simple. Low expenses, right? Where you don't have a ton of bills, right? And a huge team. It's extremely lean, extremely simple. And all of your expenses are covered with MRR. And for the first time in a little over a year, I'm there again. So even if none of you guys watching this ever buy anything from me, I don't care. Why? Because I'm already at, all of my bills and profit, baked in and being paid. So I'm good. Whether, anybody who watches my content or sees my ads buys my stuff, right? And then on top of that, right, you have new sales. And so right now, as I'm recording this, it's, May 15th, halfway through the month. And I think we're only at, for the first time ever, 45K a month in sales. Like this is pretty low for us. But I've only spent about 2K on ads. So I've actually already profited more this month than some of my biggest months ever, where we were doing 200K, right? And it's only halfway through the month. So that profit is only going to keep increasing, right? It's not going to go down. So I'm going to make even more money in the next 2 weeks, which is amazing, right? And so profit will be baked in on top of your monthly recurring revenue. So I just want you to think about this for a second. Imagine you being able to say this and it not being true. My bills and payouts are paid even if I don't sign up a single client. Because what people are buying in 2025 is much different than what they were buying in 2020 and 2019. People are no longer buying info, right? They're buying transformation, right? And they're buying community. Like that's it, That's the only thing people are buying. I would say, and proximity. So I've actually been doing more one-to-one coaching, just like with my AirPods on like calls and stuff like that than usual. But I'm offering more proximity to me because I don't need 20, 30 clients a month to profit what I need to profit. I only need a few, right? And because of that, I'm able to charge more, right? I'm able to make a bigger impact and go deeper with the students that I do have. And so after running all the models that I've seen, winning the school games, doing like a hybrid 297 a month MRR model, doing only high ticket, I've personally found that there's a blend. And the blend for me is getting your MRR every single month to your expenses and cutting unnecessary expenses. And then everything else that you make on top of that is profit, right? So like a couple things that I did to cut expenses is like team softwares. I realized one of the softwares I was paying like $1,800 a month, didn't even need it. And then, another thing is the ads, right? For a lot of people, ads are super great at the beginning, but when you get to like 30, 40, 50K a month, it could really start adding up. So, I built a couple low ticket funnels to where I spend $100 on ads, I get $100 back in course sales, and then I get free leads to where people are actually booking in calls and buying my stuff. I launched a funnel. I spent $3K on ads. I made $4,500 in low ticket sales. And then I collected over $30,000 in cash on the back end, right? So essentially I got paid $1,500 to get paid 30 grand, right? Which is absolutely crazy. And there's a smarter way to run ads in 2025, and we're showing people in our programs this. And then there's also a way to increase the return on ad spend that you're currently running, right? So what was working in 2025, I don't know if you guys kind of feel it and sense it, but it's just getting harder and harder. And if you want to stand out, the only way to do that is to be operating in the green. Because here's the big takeaway that I want all of you guys to have is there's two types of people. There's the coach on the left, right, who operates like I'm talking about. And maybe you can even sense it in this video of like, yo, Brandon, I can actually tell you're like happy and like you don't care if I sign up for your program or not, right? So there's, this version, low expenses, you're profiting a lot, and you literally have no agenda, right? Like you don't care if people sign up or not. And if they do, it's a cherry on top. And the main goal of them even signing up is because they'll be able to receive a transformation and change their life, right? And then you have the coach on the right who's operating in the red. And literally all of their content is built to sell you, set you, right? And really has an agenda. And people can sense this and smell this out so freaking easily. It's so crazy, right? And so like the people you see winning are the people on the left who are just flowing and like genuinely trying to help people and serve people and be genuine. And the people who are losing are the people who are making bad content in a stressful state because they're running a stressful business. And so what happens is these people, right, don't have fun anymore. Their content starts to, drift off. And then before you know it, maybe they're not even in business, right? I've seen this happen a ton of times. So my whole point here is I want to show you guys a model that makes you more money, makes you happier, and you're actually able to enjoy the business. So yeah, right now, how things are working for me is we have two models, right? Group coaching, which is more affordable really than ever. And then I'm working directly one-to-one with people. So depending on when you see this, there might be spots open, there might not be, but if you want to inquire about what that could look like to work literally directly with me and me help you implement all this stuff, you can literally just click the link down below to schedule a call. And that call will actually be with me, which is cool. So literally we'll just jam out on where you're at, right? Where you want to get to, and then identify any of the bottlenecks holding you back from getting there. And if I think I can help, I'll literally just show you what it looks like to work together. If not, hopefully I can point you in the right direction with some free resources or maybe even referring you to someone else. But again, this is the only way I see a coaching business surviving 2025. And if you don't make some of these key changes, I would start looking at, what needs to happen and start taking some like serious shifts and actions, because I don't think it's going to be pretty, especially as AI keeps going and going. But again, if you want to see what it looks like for me to come in and help you implement all of this stuff with close proximity, be a part of our community, and even fly out to meet me, depending on when you join and if you hop into one of the live events. But yeah, what you can do, click the link down below. Again, if this helped you, make sure to leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. And yeah, I'm going to start making more content again. So super stoked for this, and I'll see you guys soon.